Piastri. The time is now. Oscar Piastri wins.
Madison Keys is a major champion.
They're closing in on a win for the true believers.
Hello, welcome to another edition of Wide World of Sports. I'm Nick McCardle, and on deck this week, Mark Taylor, Georgie Parker. Gee, it's good to see him with a smile on his face. Tim Horan after a Wallabies win.
Oh, how good was that last night for the Wallabies? An amazing atmosphere, and what a series it was against the British and Irish Lions. And I reckon I might have seen our former Prime Minister John Howard walking this morning in a Wallabies tracksuit.
Wallabies tracksuit. I think you're probably right. All right, we are going to be talking Wallabies very, very shortly. But let's have a look at what's on today's show. Molly O Callahan, the star of the show at the World Swimming Championships. A piece of history for Molly O, and another golden night last night for Australia. Cate Campbell joins us live from Singapore. Craig Foster in to talk football. The English Premier League kicks off August 16 on Stan Sport. Clean sweep prevented. The Wallabies beat the Lions in a dramatic third test. Timmy will wrap it all up shortly. And a special Wide World of Sports presents Kirsty Coventry on her journey from Olympic star to new IOC president.
I feel so honoured to be here and to think about where it all started. That was never in the plan.
Yes, that one-on-one with Kirsty Coventry very, very shortly, but we're going to start with Rugby League. We're heading to Newcastle, where it's the inaugural round of the Magic Round in NRLW. And, well, Brad Fittler joining us from Newcastle. Freddie, good morning to you. This weekend has had everything. There's wild weather, some lightning and some good football as well.
Yeah, it has been wild. There was 15,000 people expected, but there was about 80 mil of rain yesterday. The conditions were just dreadful, and there was a few brave souls out here in the Andrew Johns stand, but had 2 games called off due to lightning, and there was 1 game actually called off early this year due to lightning. That's the first time since 10 years ago when the Roosters Dragons Anzac game was called off. So the conditions have been appalling, but the girls obliging. Been some great football. The Roosters and the Broncos are just showing why they're the best 2 teams in the competition at the moment, and we get the Knights play today, who are in pretty good form as well.
Well, speaking about the Knights, Jessie Southwell, who I believe is Andrew Johns' favourite player, she's putting together a brilliant season so far.
I think Andrew sees a little bit of himself in Jessie. She's got an incredible kicking game. She's very competitive, and she's actually on a run of 18 kicks at the moment. She hasn't missed a goal this year, and that's one part of the girls' game which they're slowly getting better at. But she's so competitive. The Knights, they win this week. That's 4 in a row. They're sitting third, and they're having a really good season.
Hey, Freddie, if we move to the men's game, the Roosters last night against Manly were pretty good. They're starting to move up the ladder now.
Yeah, well, they've jumped Manly. They moved to 9th. They're still a couple of points off Cronulla and the Dolphins, and actually play the Dolphins next week. All the talk's been about Daly Cherry-Evans and is he going to the Roosters, but it was the other halfback, Sam Walker. Beautiful kicking game, just real cute, just delicate. All 3 tries came off his kicks, and he showed why he's the halfback at the moment. So they need to keep winning. They've got a fairly tough run, the Roosters, but 1 game at a time. They've got the Dolphins next week, which is a team that's just sitting above them. So, yeah, their sort of destiny's in their hands at the moment.
Freddie, but in the main game last night, the Dragons were too good for the Raiders last night. It was good to see my Dragons win a close one.
They were brilliant, Tubby.
Yes.
Brilliant. Very spirited. One of the best parts of the competition at the moment is how the teams that actually aren't in contention, how well they're playing. We saw Parramatta. We'll speak about the Titans and the Dragons last night in very tough conditions. That windsock was 90 degrees, Tubby. It was blowing sideways. And I've got to say, Kyle Flanagan's kicking, 5 out of 5, 2 tries each, but that was the difference in the game. And I think Canberra had their opportunities. Their completions were poor, but they still had plenty of opportunities to score tries, and a bit of spirit shown by the Dragons, Tubby. They were too good.
And, Freddie, you mentioned the Titans. Looked like they were going to pull off a massive comeback against the Panthers. And then, of course, as is a familiar story, Nathan Cleary steps in.
Yeah, well, 24-0 the score was at half-time, and it looked like it was going to be 100. And all of a sudden, the game turned. They scored a couple of tries, and all of a sudden, Isaac Tungor got sin-binned, and it looked like the Titans were running downhill. They scored 3 tries in that time, and then there's going to be the controversy of the trainer running in front of Cate Campbell kicking a goal, which would have taken them 4 clear, but given they were 2 clear, Nathan Cleary just came up with this moment, kicked a field goal, 40 metres, that's a 2-pointer. Took it into extra time, and then a couple of those young guns on the left-hand side, Casey McLean, and then also Blaze Talangi scored his 2nd try. So an incredible game. There'll be plenty said about the trainer running in front of Cate Campbell.
Freddie, thank you. If I'm not mistaken, that is a patch of blue sky over your left shoulder. So fingers crossed that heads towards McDonald Jones Stadium.
They say it's going to clear today, so get out and watch the girls, all you Newcastle fans.
Exactly right. Freddie, thank you. It is an NRLW triple header, all part of Magic Round. It starts from 11:45 Eastern on 9 and 9 now. And it starts with the Cowboys and the Warriors. So NRL Magic Round continuing from Newcastle. Get around it. Stay with us. A stat still to come, coming your way.
Live from Singapore. It's the final day of the World Swimming Championships. Another stellar week for Australian swimming with Molly O, their headliner. Things go pear-shaped at the Oval. The groundsman in the crosshairs of India's head coach Gautam Gambhir, Tubby, chimes in. But first, it's time for Sean Maloney's best plays from the month of July.
Forget about it! Hello team, it's Sunday best time with a look back at our top plays from July. And you know what that means. Coney Island, Nathan's Hot Dogs, Joey Chestnut, we'll come back. State of Origin and Queensland did what Queensland do so well, give New South Wales a sniff, then bam! The old upset series win. How good was Tom Dearden? How brave was Cam Munster?
He's led his team to victory. In sport, nothing is impossible.
From the green grass of Accord to the lush surrounds of Wimbledon, and Iga Swiatek double-bageled her way to the title. On the men's front, it was Yannick Sinner getting revenge from Roland Garros v Carlos Alcaraz. Back to the hot dogs and Joey. Okay, that seems a lot. Yeah, that's some quick going from Chestnut. Know what else goes fast? Oscar Piastri. He is still killing it in F1.
Oscar Piastri wins the Belgian Grand Prix.
In rugby, the British and Irish Lions brought 40,000 fans to Australia, and they went mad as their men claimed the 3-test series. It hurt us Wallabies fans. Oh, did it hurt.
And the trophy is going back to the Northern Hemisphere.
Righto, we need a mood lifter. How's Chestnut going? In the ring, the most talked about Aussie fight in recent memory played out in hugely controversial circumstances, with Paul Gallen going the distance and defeating Sonny Bill Williams.
Paul, the G-Train!
From guys teeing off on each other to guys just teeing off, and Scotty Scheffler put on a masterclass in Ireland to win the British Open.
He's starting to move into the company of the greats of the game. What a performance.
Okay, time to let Joey bring it home at Coney Island. What number are we up to? Oh my goodness. Well, we'll see you in a month's time with your next Sunday best. Kids, do not try this at home.
So Molly dives into the pool for the first time this week.
To have a real chance here for another World Championship gold medal. This would be very special. The Australian girls are going to win gold again. I shut them down. Shut them down.
So Australia already has 3 world champs, including Molly in this event.
What about this by Molly? She's pulled away and left them in a dust. Look at this by Molly O Callahan. She's making a mess of the field. Molly, you are a marvel. Australia lead, 200 metres to go, and Molly O Callahan could be on track for 11th World Championship gold medal. It's Molly versus Katie, it's all down to this. I think Australia is going to win another gold medal in the relay. Our golden girls, they are so good. It's more glorious gold for Australia's girls, and it's 11 for Molly O Callahan.
Molly O Callahan, she has been unbelievable. What a star she is, and she's proven that in Singapore this week. And that's where we're heading right now. Cate Campbell joining us. Kate, good to see you. You've been on pool deck all week. You've seen Molly O strutting her stuff. What a week.
Oh my goodness, what a week, Nick. I just don't know if Australians realise how lucky you are to be watching the Australian swim team at the moment. I know that we like to harken back to the golden era with Hackey and Thorpe and Susie, and all complete respect to those guys, but the golden era is now, guys. Molly O, she goes to tying at the top of the leaderboard with 11 gold medals with Ian Thorpe at World Championship level, and she is just extraordinary. She's 21 years old, and it just feels like there is so much momentum within this team. It's a really young team. This year was supposed to be a rebuilding year for the Australian team, and we're second on the medal table, but on day 5 we were number 1, and our Aussies are just lifting. They're swimming out of their skins. It feels like there is something magic happening inside the Australian camp, and it's translating into performances in the pool. It's translating into gold medals for Molly O and personal bests and minor medals for some other athletes. And it's just been an absolute delight to watch.
Kate, part of that golden era is Cam McAvoy. Last night defended his title from Fukuoka. He's in great form again, or still, should I say.
Oh my goodness, this man is aging like a fine wine. Last night, he became the oldest Australian to ever win a World Championship gold medal, and he just gets better and better and better. At 31 years old, that is pretty ancient for swimming. We're aged like dogs quite quickly. We have quite a short lifespan. And Cam, he not only is a world champion, he's a new dad. He has taken a real new perspective to the sport. He has this revolutionary training program, and he is just killing it. And he's already got his eyes set on LA. But World Championship, once again, it was just beautiful to watch him. It's like poetry in motion every time he gets in the pool.
Kate, what about Kaylee McEwen defending her backstroke titles and won the 200 last night? Like, she's in incredible form, and at some stage, I reckon we're going to start talking about, is she one of the greatest swimmers we've seen from Australia? Because she's still only very young.
She's so young, and she is our most successful ever individual Olympic medalist. She has 4 individual gold medals, and she is one of the toughest racers you have ever seen. I am trying to think if I have ever seen a more dominant backstroker on the world stage, and I just can't recall seeing someone who just gets in the pool and manages to win. And she isn't in an event where she isn't being pushed. She isn't an outlier. She is being pushed and challenged every step of the way. She had to win in a championship record time in the 100-metre backstroke and in the 200 metres backstroke. You saw her at the end of that 200 metres backstroke. She was, leaning over the lane rope. We know that she has been struggling with injury heading into these championships. She's had an interrupted preparation and spoken about the challenges of coming back after an Olympic Games. And yet she just manages to win. When Kaylee gets in the pool, you just know that there is something special, and we are watching history happen right before our very eyes, guys. It's just so phenomenal and incredible, and I want Australia to stand up and applaud these athletes, because we are witnessing the greats of the sport, not just in Australia, but in the world, come and stand up and perform for us, and it's phenomenal to see.
Another athlete that really performed was Lani Palliser in the 800. Now, it's a silver medal, but very, very close to winning that gold, and was beating Summer McIntosh as well. So how good's it been seeing her come into some really good form after Paris?
So Lani swam a 5-second personal best last night to break the Australian record by 5 seconds. She was up against the great Katie Ledecky. She was only a couple of tenths of a second behind her. Now, Katie Ledecky, to my knowledge, has never lost the 800 metres freestyle at a world championship level. She is the greatest to have ever swum this, and Lani pushed her every stroke of the way. All the commentary was around Summer McIntosh, who's a Canadian superstar who was gunning for 5 individual gold medals. It was all about Summer versus Katie, and it turned out to be Katie versus Lani. Lani has just moved to Dean Boxall, who coaches the likes of Ariane Titmus, and she has only been there for a couple of months, and we have seen a rapid and vast improvement. She spoke last night about her goal of winning an individual Olympic gold medal. And my goodness, does she look on track within 5 months to produce, I think she's lowered her 800 metres freestyle PB by 7 or 8 seconds in a couple of months. Can you imagine what she can do in a couple of years under the tutelage of Dean Boxall? It is just exciting stuff. Like I say, guys, you want to be a part of this. You want to watch it when it happens, because these athletes, they are rewriting the history books for swimming in our country and the world globally. It was a phenomenal race, and I know that it was a silver for Lani, but for me, it's been the race of the championships. And it's not often you can say that about an 800 freestyle. I say that with all the respect and love in the world.
Hey, Kate, great wrap up. Thanks very much. Great to see you. Enjoy the last day of the championships.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Cate Campbell joining us from Singapore. And don't miss the last day of the World Aquatic Championships from Singapore. Australia in action in the men's and women's 4x100 medley relays. We've had a good week in the relays. Today's heat session gets underway at midday Eastern on 9 now. And the finals begin at 9 p.m. Eastern right here on 9 and 9 Gem. We're going to push some quick singles now. Taylor, you love a quick single?
Yeah, some further good news for Australia. Some good wins for Australian men's tennis players during the week. Poprin beat Daniel Medvedev in a round of 32. Chris O'Connell also then went out and beat Tsitsipas in the same round. Unfortunately for Chris, he then had to retire or withdraw from his match against Dimonau, who's obviously through to the round of 16. So Poprin later today plays Holger Rune.
Well, the Melbourne Vixens last night became the 2025 Super Netball Grand Finalists, or champions, I should say. They won in an absolute thriller, 59-58. 15,013 people rocked up there at John Cain Arena. I don't know if you guys have been to a netball match, but the decibel level there would have required earplugs, and it was the last match there for their coach to ever reach.
What about F1 fans? For those who are worried about Max Verstappen, he confirms he's going to stay at Red Bull. So, of course, a bit of controversy when Christian Horner got axed and everyone thought, oh, what's going to happen is Max Verstappen, what will he do? But he's going to be racing in 2026 in the F1 for Red Bull.
Well, Australia's Matildas have been given their draw for the next year's Asian Cup, which will be here in Australia. They'll open the tournament with the Philippines in Perth before they head across the country to take on Iran. And they'll finish the group stages against a team who knocked them out in the last Asian Cup, South Korea. And this tournament will hopefully bring back some big names, Sam Kerr and Mary Fowler.
Yeah, and some really nice news actually from the week for our 1980s Olympic team who were honoured at Parliament House with a welcome home. And it sounds a bit strange, some 45 years after they went to the Moscow Games, but they defied, well, not orders, but a lot of pressure from the US, from our government, from public pressure about not going to those games to be part of the boycott of those games. They went, and the good news is that they're now one of only two countries, us and Greece, who've participated in every Summer Olympics. Only two countries have done that, Greece and us. So
great to see them in their blazers too.
Nice blazers.
Yeah.
And I reckon the Australian cricket team, I think we pinched them.
Yeah, right.
we actually had them for about the 90s, about 93 and 97 Ashes tours. Very similar blazers. Striking.
Nice work, team.
Yeah.
Well done. Stick around, there's more Wild World of Sports on its way. Thanks for staying with us. Let's take a look around the grounds. And in the Women's Open, Aussie's Minjee Lee and Steph Kyriakou have some work to do heading into the final round at Royal Porthcawl. Kyriakou's at 3 under for the tournament, 6 shots off the pace. A slam dunk on day 2 helped along the way. She's in a tie for 11th. Now in Formula 1, Ferrari Charles Leclerc has edged out Oscar Piastri by less than 0.03 of a second to claim pole for tonight's Hungarian Formula 1 Grand Prix. Piastri will be looking to extend his lead in the drivers' standings, currently 16 points clear of Lando Norris. And in the AFL, the Brisbane Lions have taken down Collingwood in front of 82,000 at the MCG. The win is the Lions' first over the Pies at the G since 2014. Young gun Logan Morris was superb in front of goal, kicking a career-high 6 majors. So have a look at the ladder. The 27-point win means the Lions remain in third. Also keeps the Adelaide Crows at the top. Georgie's happy about that. And Collingwood in second, 5 teams locked on 52 premiership points with Fremantle and Geelong still to play this afternoon. The Western Bulldogs sitting a win outside the top 8 with 3 rounds to play. So it's the perfect time to say a very good morning to Jimmy Bartell joining us from Melbourne. Jimmy, it is tight at the top, but that Brisbane-Collingwood encounter, is that a preview of the grand final?
Morning, team. I don't know whether it is a preview just yet because we've got the Adelaide Crows going really, really well and a number of teams hitting some good form at the right time. But you wouldn't be surprised if these two teams are there, the last two premiership sides playing off. And it was a tight tussle in the first half in particular. Brisbane dominated the first quarter, then it was Collingwood's turn. And then they just got on top, the Lions, around contest, clearance, scores from stoppage, all those stats and areas that coaches love to put on their whiteboards. And Hugh McCluggage was just incredible last night. Logan Morris, his rise, well, his rapid rise, already a premiership player. What he's doing at his age for a key position player is extraordinary. 6 goals last night. His movement on the forward line, the 2 Ashcrofts, Jasper Fletcher and that man Bailey, all class. So both sides will be there at the pointy end.
Jimmy, what about the Gold Coast Suns? A big win from them. A bit of a step closer now to probably making that top 4. Big win against Richmond.
Yeah, I love them when they wear the guava there. It's a great footy jumper as well. I'd just like to see the guava shorts once just to make it even cooler. But look, they did what they had to. It was a ruthless edge to them. And I think that's the difference, Tim, this year, that we always know Gold Coast has got talent, but there's some real fire under the hood and some grit. And Damien Hardwick has instilled this in the team. They could have gone and just meandered through that game, but they put Richmond to the sword. They were pretty ruthless. I think a lot of guys are realising it's going to be tough for spots come finals time. Remember, they got the extra game in hand, so whenever you look at the ladder, it's not quite even at the end of the round. So important just to keep knocking them off, and percentage is going to be a big factor when we get down to the final 8.
Speaking of percentage, the Crows sitting at 144. Thank you very much. And top of the ladder. Don't worry, I'm very on top of that. But they had a little bit of an up and down match against the Hawks, but not beating them by 14 points. Should I be booking my tickets in September?
Well, you should be booking your barbershop appointment, Georgie, because I think I did see a promise that you'll go back to the bowl cut because you are the #1 fan of the Sean Wren fan club. So your Crows, they don't want for anything in all seriousness, Georgie. They're top 2 and 3 in attack and defence. And when we look back at past premiers, they're pretty good indicators of a successful side. They're pretty mature. That big man there, the big Yeti, Thilthorpe, he's an absolute monster. Isaac Rankin can do things that others can't. And their depth they've got across the board. Their backline's really well drilled. They help each other. The big Texan just kicking a couple of goals late. So for Adelaide, it's probably just keeping fit. Michael Ennie coming back in that side. Maybe can they get Rochelle back? But apart from that, they've got a full bill of health. So the Crows just need to just keep chugging along.
Gee, I hope they do. I want to see Georgie Parker with a bowl cut.
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Absolutely. And on this show, that's what I want to see. Jimmy, the strange game for me was that Thursday night game. Bulldogs and GWS. I thought that was going to be a close one, but Bulldogs just blew them away, though. Is that a worry for GWS?
Yeah, I think we were hoping it was going to be a close one after a few fizzes in a row on Thursday night. But if you go back and look at the record between the Dogs and the Giants, they say, it's a bit of a grudge match or a rivalry. But the Dogs have actually owned the Giants. They've beaten them quite convincingly. They walloped them on Thursday night, and that's through the midfield depth. They've got a lot of really good players through the midfield. And it's probably one area where the Giants, you take away Green and Callahan are going to be good, but apart from that, they probably don't have the star quality that some other sides have, in particular Dogs. And if you kick it anywhere near Darcy's area and Norton at the moment, they are just red hot. So I think the Dogs are going really well. The Giants are probably missing a couple of key players.
Jimmy, if you look at the ladder, it's really tight through 3rd through 9. So who misses out at this stage if you had to pick a couple?
I think the toughest run home is the Hawks. They've got Collingwood and Brisbane to come, and they probably need to win at least one of those. The Giants, as I mentioned, missing Buckley and Kelly as well with some injuries out. They're a bit shaky. And the Dogs are probably going to make it because they've got a good run home at Marvel Stadium, and they're playing some really good footy. So probably the two teams that got the toughest run home, probably the Hawks. And I know the Giants have got some easy ones, but with those injuries, I wouldn't say they're absolute certainties.
Looks like a beautiful day in Melbourne. Enjoy it. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Right, Jimmy Bartell there. Always good to catch up with him. We're going to grab a bit of takeaway now. Georgie, get us started.
Well, the US Open, they're hoping to make mixed doubles sexy again. So they're trying to get as many players playing in the mixed doubles. So Alex de Minaur has put his hand to be one of the wild cards for the US Open mixed doubles. They had 10 teams automatically selected and then 6 wild cards. And those wild cards included players like Carlos Alcaraz, Novak Djokovic, Venus Williams even coming back. So Alex de Minaur has hoped maybe he could play with his fiancée, Katie Boulter, who is a British player. So I can't even play pickleball with my partner, let alone playing in a Grand Slam tennis tournament.
That's a recipe for disaster right there.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Nice moment for Nick White last night.
It was great for Nick White. Played his last Test match for the Wallabies, and what a way to go out. You don't usually get that swan song. And this is the team run on Friday, and all the players came out for the photo with a moustache on. It was quite funny because Nick White was out there early doing some media, and everyone came out and did the team.
And a monobrow.
How good, yeah. So that was great for Nick White, and he was superb last night. I know we'll talk about it in a minute, but the way that he played, he just led this side, led the scuffles, and he got a standing ovation when he left the field. His last game ever for the Wallabies. He's going to spend a bit more time with the family now.
He is a very good human, Nick White, and the over that just kept on giving.
Yeah, it wasn't a great night a couple of nights ago for John Hastings, who's a terrific fella, mind you. This is the Legends World T20 Championships in England. Australia playing Pakistan. Australia only made 74. John Hastings bowled what turned out to be the final over of the game. He bowled 12 wides and a no ball.
They're running out of space.
Yeah. He twice bowled 5 wides in a row in the same over. Bradley was captain. Australia surprisingly lost that game. That over went for 19 and actually didn't finish. He only bowled 5 legal deliveries of the 18 that he bowled in the over. So not a great day for John Hastings. Sorry, Jono. Good man, Jono.
Tough day at the office. Lovely to stay with us. There's still a bit more to come right here on My World of Sports.
Game 1 of the Test Series. We're on. Russell looks long, wide, right, and they get the first fire. Jorgensen, free kick. It's Australia, Australia. The Curry. Stian, who's in the corner. Casano. And there's a little bit of life here for Australia. McDermott back against the traffic. Take McDermott.
So the Wallabies will have to regroup for the second Test match at the MCG.
Gianchino restarts and launches.
First try of the match for the British and Irish Lions.
Slipper! Jakey Gordon finds a way. This is about as good as it gets from the Wallabies. Curry's out wide and scores. The Lions are back.
The series on a knife edge.
Burn! Keenan!
There's a high clean out on Carlo Tizzano. This try will be disallowed. We don't see any full play.
Try for the Lions.
And the trophy is going back to the Northern Hemisphere.
The fans, they continue to stream in here.
Accor Stadium, 85,000 people in the house.
It is the Wallabies up against the British and Irish Lions in our series finale. We're on. Peach, Dylan, Peach launches. Skelton, and it's kicking off. And Australia play on. Jorgensen down the right. Maxi Jorgensen to make it a 13-point lead on Newgate draw. Goal! McDermott, stop. McDermott! He's over. Full time has been called. It's a Wallabies win to make all Aussies proud.
The winners of the series, the British and Irish Lions.
What a series and what a Test match last night in Sydney. And it kind of makes it even more difficult to swallow what happened in Melbourne last week. It was that close. Now, Timmy, you were there, obviously, throughout the series. You've seen a lot of Test matches from the Wallabies. You've played, obviously, in a lot of Test matches for the Wallabies. Is that one of the best you've ever seen last night?
Oh, it have to be in the top 10, yeah, for the Wallabies to bounce back after what happened at the MCG in that second Test match. And I think, first of all, congratulations to Andy Farrell and the British and Irish Lions. They wrapped the series up. But last night, for the Wallabies to win that Test match and for Harry Wilson to get his side up to be able to perform like they did last night in really difficult conditions. I think was outstanding, and it showed so much pride in the gold jersey. I think that for the fans that were there, Tubby, you were there in the crowd, I know, 85,000 people there, and they actually showed so much pride in that gold jersey. And Max Jorgensen, unbelievable series from him as a youngster. Like, geez, he's come of age.
Absolutely. It was great to be there. I reluctantly went along, Tim, in the Rugby Australia box, and did my best to keep the Guinness numbers up while I was there. But there was a lot of chat actually in the box about the British and Irish Lions, how they come here every 12 years, and there was this discussion around, maybe France, they'll go to France instead of coming to Australia every 12 years. I think that series, that will squash that sort of discussion, I dare say.
Oh, totally. After, I suppose the games leading into the 3 Test match series, people were questioning, will the Lions come back to Australia? Because there was high points scored. But after the Test match series, the Lions are coming back here every 12 years. It's financially, it's the most beneficial for the Lions franchise, and they'll be back here. They might go and play France or Argentina in a Test match prior to coming here, like they just did. They played Argentina in Ireland before they came to Australia. So they go to New Zealand in 4 years' time. And I reckon all these fans, 40-odd thousand fans that came to Australia, they start saving today for 4 years' time to go again.
Yeah, right.
Timmy, you feel war, you're coming into the office on Monday and somebody asks you, has this been a success? What does he say?
Oh, definitely. A huge success for, also financially for Rugby Australia. They'll now be debt-free. I think they're about 55 million in debt, so debt-free after this tour. Then you've got this runway of between now to the Rugby World Cup. There's a lot of footy coming for the Wallabies. Big tour at the end of this year. And you get to Rugby World Cup 27 and about $100 to $120 million will come in to the bank account of Rugby Australia. Then you've got to hold that for the future and the community game as well.
Just thinking, you mentioned all those Lions fans, 40,000 of them, and they were fantastic, but we just have to make sure they do all go home.
Please do. We can't have any more.
You can't stay. So in a couple of weeks' time, the Wallabies, they head to South Africa, the beginning of the Rugby Championship. So South Africa, and then, of course, the Bledisloe, and then that runway, as you say, to the World Cup. What sort of platform was that last night for all of what's to come?
Yeah, I spoke to Joe Smith post-game and he said, well, I think they're going to jump on a plane on Friday to go to South Africa, to Joburg, so to play the world champion Springboks. So they've got to back up again. And I think it's just a good springboard for Wallabies fans, but also sports fans to re-engage. And you see that fans actually really care about the Wallabies now. And we've re-engaged this whole new sort of product of the Wallabies. And yeah, it doesn't get any easier, but you've got to play the world champion Springboks in 2 weeks' time in Johannesburg, then Cape Town, and then go on to the Rugby Championship. And then hopefully we get one hand on the Bledisloe Cup this year potentially as well. So that's huge as well. So, but just before we finish, I must mention Matthew Burke, great friend of ours, and one of the best players I played with, was inducted in the World Rugby Hall of Fame through the week, and incredible honour for Matty Burke.
Very well deserved. All right, as Timmy mentioned, not a lot of rest for our Wallabies. They do head to South Africa to take on the world champion Springboks. Their first 2 tests of the Rugby Championship. First up, Ellis Park in Johannesburg. It's a Stan Sport exclusive from 1:50 a.m. Eastern on Sunday, August 17. So we've got a very special Wide World of Sports present. So Kirsty Coventry, the new president of the IOC, she was in Australia recently, and sat down, had a chat with her about her journey from swimmer to IOC president and what's to come in Brisbane in 2032.
We are so excited for what's to come. Everyone is moving forward, which is good. There's a lot of excitement, which is even better, and now we got to keep up that momentum. I'm very excited about the new aquatic centre. You know, we might have to have another little swim, Steffi and I, to just christen the pool.
Kirsty, you've been described as the most powerful woman in world sport, perhaps the most powerful person in world sport. How does that sit with you?
I don't think it's really sunk in. I'm not sure if it ever will. For me, the games changed my life and the trajectory of my life, and I just want to give back to a movement that has given me so much, and I want to do that in a way that inspires another generation. We have to showcase to the world that we celebrate our differences and our diversity. That, again, is something that's really unique, especially in today's world. And so I think continuing to be able to showcase these stories and highlight these things that the Olympic Games brings, it's a big responsibility, but I'm glad that it's us that's getting to continue to do that. It had always obviously been a dream, right? I was 9 years old when I told my parents I wanted to go to the Olympic Games and win a gold medal. I just watched the 1992 Barcelona Olympics.
What's your ambition in swimming?
My ambition is one day to get to the Olympics.
I didn't quite know what to expect, so I remember walking into the pool for the very first time and it just being, you know, I was 16 years old and I was like, wow, this is incredible. It was very special. I think it definitely set something alight in me that allowed me to then go to 2004 and OA and 2012 and then retire in 2016.
Now think about that 16-year-old that walked onto the pool deck in Sydney 25 years ago. Could you ever have imagined that young girl would end up where you are today?
No. I'm getting a little emotional, but I feel so honored to be here and to think about where it all started. That was never in the plan. It doesn't go amiss to me, the massiveness of what is expected of me. I'm excited about it, but no, I don't think I could have imagined it.
And given all of that, somewhere inside you, is there still that 16-year-old girl who is nervous and amazed and wide-eyed at what is to come for you?
Yeah. Oh, well, that's probably where the tears are coming from
right.
now, because
It's
I
still
think
there.
it's still there, and I hope that it still remains. I've also been very selective with who I keep around me. You know, their job is to make sure that that never goes away, that humbleness, I guess, that 16-year-old grit to serve and to give and to try and make things different is never lost. And so that's a big responsibility for them, but they've managed to help me do that so far, and I think we'll be able to keep it for the next years to come.
The atmosphere is absolutely incredible here.
It is showtime. Let the entertainment begin.
What a fabulous strike that was! That's an absolutely fantastic touch. Oh, what an outstanding goal! It's Salah! Fantastic! Just too hot to handle.
The English Premier League heading to Stan Sport, and I know this man, Craig Foster, is very excited about that.
Absolutely.
Fozzie, good to see you.
Yeah, great to see you.
You could argue that it's the biggest sporting competition in the world. Just describe the reach, the impact of the EPL.
You could. I think you have to.
You would.
Yeah, you have to acknowledge that the scale of the EPL is just immense. You know, whether it's on the popularity and the reach and the scale around the world, or financial, on any of those metrics, it's just absolutely huge. So, of course, at Stan and at Channel 9, as part of that group, we're all delighted to have not just the EPL, but actually the FA Cup. Of course, as you know, we've already got the Champions League, Europa League, which was won by Spurs last year. We've got Conference League, which Chelsea won in a great final, and now we've got, you know, every match of the EPL. So I think there's around 4 billion humans who watch the EPL every season, 3 billion on TV and through broadcast, and around a billion who engage through social media. Wow. So like basically half the planet watch this competition. It's incredible.
And last year they saw Liverpool win it, win the EPL anyway, and they were 10 points clear, which is quite a sizable margin. Yeah. Do you see something similar this year?
Well, I would say it's doubtful because you've got the other teams like Arsenal, for instance, who finished second, you know, for 3 years in a row. There's immense pressure now on Mikel Arteta to try and get that title that's eluded them for so long. Arne Slot did an incredible job last year to replace Klopp. You know, and to come in on the back of a guy who had won and was such a legend of the club, immensely difficult. You don't often see them do what Arne Slot was able to achieve, and that is to take them to, you know, another title. And what he's actually done is he hasn't rested on that. He's cleaned out the team and he's turned it over. And all of a sudden you're going to see a new Liverpool, and that's why we're not quite sure what they're going to be able to deliver. You know, you've got Cate come in from Germany. You've got Frimpong on the right. Of course, Alexander-Arnold went out. Luis Diaz has left. And you've got Florian Wirtz, who's perhaps I would say, the best playmaker, young playmaker in the world at the moment, coming across from Leverkusen in Germany. So he's actually rebuilt a team that had just dominated. And then if you consider that Guardiola's going to come back, Arteta's under pressure to do so, you know, and so many of these clubs are going to be pushing them. Chelsea also won the Club World Cup. They're going to be somewhere thereabouts. It's going to be tight.
You've stolen Tim's thunder. He was going to reel off all those names.
Yeah, I was going to say, I knew all those names. My side, Arsenal, they say those second last year, as you mentioned. What about Man City as well? They finished second and third last year. Can they threaten any team?
Well, you can't rule either of them out. I mean, let's start with City. You know, Guardiola has been the benchmark, you know. Prior to last season, he'd won the 4 seasons previous. You know, he'd won in Europe and he is the preeminent coach of the last 2 decades. He's actually changed the game of football and he has to change again. Essentially what happened last year was, of course, Rodri went out for Man City and he was struggling there. He has rebuilt. And he has to change the football a little bit. Basically, the EPL is becoming more vertical, it's becoming more transition, more counter-attacks, and that's why Liverpool profited last season. He's going to have to be quicker with the ball, Guardiola, and that's going to be interesting to see. Gyökeres has come in for Arteta at Arsenal, right? So last season, amazing football, Champions League semi-final, pushed PSG, which were the best team in the world last season, all the way, and yet weren't able to get a major trophy, right? And everyone was saying they lack a number 9, Saka, Martinelli, brilliant football, and he's gone and got one. Victor Gyökeres from Sporting Lisbon, right? The Swede. So to have a number 9 in that team, Gunners, I think their fans will be excited.
So you're going from the top of the ladder down to the bottom, where one of the best things about football is the relegation and the promotion, but there is a little bit of a gap with those promoted teams when they come into the league. How difficult it is for those teams? Yeah,
well, actually, it's becoming more difficult. The data says in the last couple of seasons, particularly last season and the one prior, the points tally of the 3 that come up is getting slightly less and less. So we hope to see Leeds, Burnley and Sunderland turn that around. Last season was the worst points tally of all of the 3 relegated teams. They just didn't have the capability to perform at this level. Of course, I mean, when you consider what they're given to come out, I think it's like 200 million Australian dollars to rebuild, you know, just to get back into the EPL. It's 8 years for Sunderland, for example, and they've already spent, I think it's around 120 million on Granit Xhaka, which is more than Real Madrid have spent in this off-season, right? So it's just, I mean, it is astounding on every metric.
So the first weekend, 2 weeks away.
That's right.
Give us the one encounter, the one match-up that you're looking forward to.
Well, what do you reckon? Were you just talking about Arsenal?
I'd love to see Arsenal win the first one.
Yeah. So they're up. Liverpool, I think, are playing a Bournemouth, and you've got Man United against Arsenal. So that's the one everyone's going to be watching because 2 teams under immense pressure for different reasons. I mean, let's not even talk about Amorim and a horror season last year. I mean, he has to get off to a good start, and that is one of the most difficult first-up matchups.
Craig Foster, good to see you.
All right, great to see you guys.
Cannot wait for the EPL. It is coming your way on Stan Sport. This is what we're looking forward to. August 16, football's new home. Stan Sport, live and on demand with 4K. And before that, don't miss the FA Cup Community Shield between Liverpool and Crystal Palace, August 11. UEFA Super Cup between PSG and Tottenham on August 14. If you love your football, Stan Sport is your destination. Stick around, more to come. Thanks for staying with us. More world-class sporting action coming to Sydney. Thursday marks 60 days until the ICF Slalom World Championships begin at Penrith Whitewater Stadium in Sydney. And a special announcement, the Penrith Panthers have joined forces with Naomi Fox and Paddle Australia to help promote the event. Tickets right now, sydney2025.com, or you'll be able to watch it all live and free right here on 9 and 9. Now, we've got to get out of here. Team, thank you very much for your company today, and thank you for your company right here on 9's Whitewater Sports. We'll see you soon.
Oh, good heavens! Oh!